What up, guys? I'm back. This is Paul. This is Paul and Theology's Daily Devo. And we're in Judges. We are on the Micah and the Levite story. And I said we're going to add a character this time, and we do. It is the Benjamites. So let's jump into it. If you haven't read yet, we are in chapter 18. We're going to go through the whole chapter. And if you have, we're going to jump on into it. If you haven't, stop, read through, see what it's about, come, and then let us talk about it, all right? So, Judges chapter 18, we have the Benjamites. It says that they're looking for a place to stay because they didn't get the land that they were supposed to get whenever they were handing out land. They didn't get the allotment. If you go back to the beginning of Judges, you see that they didn't conquer the land, that they were pushed out of it. And so, they're looking for a place to stay, right? And so what they do is they send out some spies and they're going looking around, and on the way to where they're going, guess whose house they happen to stop by? Oh, Micah. And they talk to the priest there, and they ask the priest, what are you doing here? He's like, man, Micah is paying me. I'm a priest now, man. So he's like, I'm a Levite and I'm sojourning, but I stopped here to get paid. They're like, well, if you're a priest, then go and tell us if our way will be prosperous. The Levite was like, oh, yeah, dude, the Lord is with you. Go ahead. Because go in peace, because you gonna get all that you desire. They was happy, man. They took off, went, and they saw a land, Laish. And they said at this land there was nobody near them. The nearest place was so far that there was no problems with anything. And then the land was just lush and good and plentiful. It was a very good land. And so the Benjamites sent a report back to their folks, and they was like, dude, this is it. This is the place, man. He says, it's good land, plus ain't nobody near them. They're peaceful people. They ain't gonna be able to overtake us, man. Let's go get them. Let's throw down. Let's do it. And so they called their brothers, and their brothers came. They sent like 300 men with swords and armed and ready to go. And they came on through there, man, and stopped by Micah house, the priest, with the Levite. And so they talked to Micah, and they talked to, or not Micah, I'm sorry, they talked to the priest, and they was like, hey, he's like, you should come with us, man. It's like, because is it better for you to be a priest of one person or a whole people, man, of Benjamites, Israelites, man, your countrymen, your kinfolk, man? And he was like, you're right, man. Let me go and hang out with you guys. And so he took the ephod, the household guys, and all that stuff, and he left with the Benjamites. And as they left and they were headed to that land where they were going to conquer, it said Micah's people came and overtook them and surrounded them, and they was talking to him. They was like, hey, why you take my stuff? Like, why you take my priest? Why you take my gods, man? He said, I made them suckers, man. They're mine. That's crazy right there anyway. But he's like, I made those, man. They're mine. And then he was like, bro, you sure you wanna fight with us? Are you sure you can handle us? And Benjamin's like, we 300 strong here, man. And so Micah was like, yeah, you right. He backed up. He's like, I ain't you cool. He was afraid of him, man. And he went back home kind of mad because they took his priests. They stole his priests, and they stole his household gods, man. And then after that, it says the Benjamites came to that city where the people were defenseless, and they burned it with fire. They destroyed it, man. And then they named the city after their patriarch, Benjamin. It says it's that way to this day. It says, but before it was called Lacey, man. So what a story. What can we see? Because this is kind of weird, right? The very beginning, it says, and people did what was right in their own eyes. It's we're in the time of the judges where whatever goes, the wild, wild west is what we say, kind of. People do what they want to do. But what can we see about God in this story? So it's difficult sometimes to ascertain what God is doing in stories, especially stories like this, where sometimes the narrator doesn't specifically give any judgments on actions that are being taken. And so it's hard to see the perspective of God in these. But we do recognize and know that what they are doing is wrong, because the catchphrase that we have that was at the very beginning, like that people are doing, there's no king in the land, and people are doing what's right in their own All right, so I think one thing we can take from this is the fact that Micah, whenever he is so angry at the Benjamites because they stole his priest and his God, he's like, give me back the gods which I made. Well, guess what? That's not our God. I think in a way that the author of Judges is saying that our God is more powerful than that. He is like a lion, man, that can't be tamed. He has the power, and he roars from his holy hill, Mount Zion. So there's no way that someone can overtake our God. That's what the writer of Judges is saying, and he's doing it a play on Micah, who thought the Lord was good and blessed him. Well, if the Lord he's talking about he got snatched up and taken away by some thugs. And then second, man, is I think God will allow you to live your life, but you got to deal with the consequences. You see, Micah was living his life, man. The Benjamites, they're just living their life. But there's consequences that come with that, and you can't blame that on God. What is it saying about man? Well, I think when we do what's in our own, like right in our own eyes, things are up for grabs, man. Anything can happen. Any way can go. People do whatever they think is right. It's today the idea of people doing what's right in their own eyes. That is called postmodernism. Like I say something's right, you say something's wrong. It's cool. What I say is right, but what you say is right, even if they don't agree. That's the world today. We're living in the time of the judges right now, where people can say that I do what I feel is good because it's good to me. And there's new universal standards, man. Then things can get kind of messed up. And that's what happened to Micah. That's what happened to the Levite. That's what happened to the people of Benjamin. That's what happened to the Laish people, where their land got taken over. Well, what can we do to apply these things, these principles to our lives? How can we apply this? I think a good application is a world absent of God can be a frightful place. And so for us, I think that means that we need to place God in his proper authority first in our own lives. Because God was not in his proper place in the lives of the Levites and the Benjamites and Micah. And so things got a little dicey. And so for us, I think first we need to place God in the proper place in our life. But then after we've placed him properly in our lives to live according to his will, then we need to be a witness, living, but also vocally to others, so that they can put God in the proper place in their life. I think that's what it is that first we need to line ourselves with God, straighten ourselves out. And then second, we need to help others see who the King is. I thank you guys for listening, man. And we're going to continue on. We're going to see some even crazier stories. If you thought that story was kind of unique and different, man, be ready for these next ones. And I warn you, it's a warning. Get your heart right, because it's a tough one. See you guys in the next episode.